Now I'm going to hit start streaming. Are you sure you want the stream to start the live event? Okay.
Yep.
And we're live. Look at that.
Yep.
Jesus.
All right, we're live.
Mooch, I got to ask you a question, sir.
Sure, buddy.
If they can't get this right, how are they going to get Stadia right?
Listen, if you want to get in the Stadia, buddy, it's going to be a long night. This will be a marathon. Luckily, you got Jay on the panel here, so I got somebody else who's a founder. We're not just clients; we're also founders. All right.
Jesus, man. I can't. First of all, apologies to everyone in the live chat. Thank you for your patience. I don't know what's going on with Google. This is a Google issue, by the way. It really is. And Mooch, by the way, thank you for telling me to try going back to the other studio, not the beta,
Yes.
because this works. The beta doesn't. Hence beta. Lesson learned, right?
I use it all the time. I always go back to the classic.
Yeah. So anyhow, welcome everyone to a special Basement Radio Arcade podcast. This is Monday Night Brap. Excited to be here. We aren't going to go live on Wednesday. I have parental duties on Wednesday. You know, at school, the kids are going back to school, so I have back to school night. So, but anyhow, we have a great show for everyone in store. We have two returning guests. I can't wait to get into the nitty gritty of some of the gaming topics that we have today with these gentlemen. But making his return, it's been seems like a long time. Make his return to Brap is Mooch. Mooch, welcome back, man.
Buddy, great to be here. When you said you were doing a Monday edition, I said, sign me up. You know, Wednesdays are tough. It's I tell you, I have no problem doing podcasting, but the back-to-back podcasts, those are exhausting. You know about this.
Yes, those can be tough, man.
No one loves to talk as much as Mooch, but I got to be honest with you, 4 hours, 5 hours. It's exhausting. But no, it's great to be on Brap tonight. And let me tell you something. Of all nights, there's plenty to talk about. And I know there's a lot of people on the panel with different thoughts and different points of view, so I'm excited to get into it.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And making his return again, he's been a guest quite a few times. You guys know him as Kratos, J-Dub. J-Dub, what is going on, man? Welcome back to Rap.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's always good to be here on the Rap.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I'm like I said, I'm excited to get into these topics with you guys. Like Mooch said, there's a lot to talk about as relates to gaming. And without further ado, Eric Jackson from South Florida. E, what is going on, man?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Happy Monday night. I don't know. I kind of like this Monday vibe, man.
Yeah, right? Monday. I think Mondays are good. Maybe we look at a Monday edition of Rap. Who knows? Maybe we can do that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we have to check with the lawyers.
Yeah, we got to check with the lawyers. I got to read the fine print. Make sure we can do that. Got to make sure that Google's actually working, or YouTube.
Yeah, right.
So, we also have B Money. B, what is going on, man?
Yo, what's happening, man? It's good to be here on a Monday, man.
It is, man. It is. You know, we will have Slow Mo Backslap joining us in a little bit. I'm not sure if Gaming Forte will be joining us. If he does, I will be telling him that we should kill Master Chief again, as I did last week. So, that being said, you know what, guys? It's I gotta say, you know, as a gamer, it's a great time to be a gamer. We've had some really good games come out the last couple of weeks. We had, if you own the Nintendo Switch, Astral Chain came out, Control came out, and Mooch, you were playing Control. I think you platinumed it, if I'm not mistaken.
No. I'm en route to that. Definitely en route to platinuming it, but no, not quite as of yet. I mean, let me tell you something. Borderlands 3's put a dent into everything I was playing.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we'll get into that. But no, Control, it's kind of underrated a little bit. People really aren't giving it a chance. It's not one of those games where it's kind of spoon feeds you. You've got to go out there, do your detective work, find the story, piece it together. And, it went through a little bit of its trials and tribulations with the frame rate issues, but they've had a patch since launch, and it's better. Is it 100%? No, but it's a lot better. It's honestly one of my favorite games I've played this year. And I seem to be in the minority there, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I they lost me, man.
I know, right? I love that DM me. You're going back and forth. I'm like, you got to muscle through it. You got to get past those first few hours.
I tried.
He writes me a couple hours later. He's like, tried. It's over.
It's done. I tapped out. I couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, you know what? I'm just not interested. I couldn't do it. So,
great.
But no, it's
I got to get back to it, man. But only thing I was waiting for the patch because Gears came out. But I said they got to patch that map, and I begged. I said, please patch the map. This map is terrible.
I don't blame you for waiting on that, E. Because to be honest with you, it needed the map. Forget the map. I hope listen. If you guys really want to do a little prep work for that game, go pull out that old memory game where you got to flip the cards over. If you don't remember where you are, you're screwed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like you're on your way. You're like, okay, I have to go back to this part of the facility. I'm running down, and all of a sudden you go back and look again. The whole map is black. Here, where in the hell am I?
You know what? It was like a Rubik's cube for me. Like it just hurt my brain. I didn't want to like walk around anymore and try to figure out where I was going. And then it's got a good story, but you have to pick up a lot of pieces and like to read files and watch videos. I'm just I can't do it. I can't do it. Just can't do it.
Get tapped out.
Yeah, that was it, man. That was it. I mean, it's not a bad game. It's not my cup of tea right now. But yeah, I mean, so it's a great time to be a gamer. I mean, all these great games have come out. Mooch, you mentioned Borderlands 3, I think. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Slow-Mo?
Yo, what's good? What's up, everybody?
Hey, by the way, check out Mr. Backslap's video. I'm gonna call you Mr. Backslap. Mr. Backslap's video that just dropped today.
I accept it.
On Borderlands 3. Yeah, man, that was a good video, by the way. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
Although I think you got one part wrong when you're talking about losing audio. That was actually with me when that happened. Although it may have you said it was Forte. It may have happened maybe with Forte too, but we were playing co-op.
Oh no, I was saying I was like, it did happen with Forte as well.
Oh,
so
it did.
I was playing it with you and playing it, and then like later on, I played it with Forte, and I got him past that same part.
Mm-hmm.
And both times the audio cut out for like 90% of that cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's I think what I think it really is that because I was using my my 7.1 surround sound headset, and I don't know what kind of headset you were using, but I think Forte's was just a stereo headset. So I'm thinking like it must be an audio channel thing for you guys to be able to hear that, but I couldn't. So I was just like, yes, there's gotta be something. But yeah, I mean, they gotta get these bugs fixed, man. It's not looking good right now.
No, definitely, man. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but just again, great time to be a gamer. Borderlands 3 dropped. We have Link's Awakening coming out Friday. I don't know if anyone on the panel is picking that up.
Nope.
It is a pass for me right now because my backlog is way too. It's just growing every week. My backlog just grows and grows. It's like a bad fungus.
I told myself that I'm not buying another Switch game until I'm finally put Fire Emblem down.
You know what's funny, Slow-Mo? You weren't big on the Switch. Do you remember this?
Yeah, you remind me of this like every week. Yes, I remember. I was crashing.
I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna step in as Slow-Mo's counsel. Slow-Mo never said he wouldn't get one. He was never down on it. He said he was
man. I think he said it was
no.
trash.
I remember this. No. He said he was waiting for those games that spoke to him, and he said the minute something speaks to him, he was in there.
But did you notice that after he got it?
As soon as Marvel Lines came out, my man jumped on it. So he stayed true to his word.
Yep,
and he's been rocking with Switch ever since.
This is true.
And he said when he got it, the one he was gonna grab first was that Mario Rabbids. See?
Yeah, and man, that was a good game. That game's underrated, man.
It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think you put a lot of time into that too, if I'm not mistaken, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, that was the first game I played on it, and I think I played that exclusively for like 2 weeks.
Jesus.
I was just playing Mario Rabbids the entire time. It was awesome. It's like a different take on that XCOM style of strategy, a strategy RPG. I love the verticalness of it. You really got to think about the upper levels of a map and the lower levels. It's good though. It's good. I think anyone should give it a shot.
People think it's all cute and Mario, but no, that game can wreck you.
I thought it was kind of kiddie, man. But people were saying like you said, like it's XCOM, and I'm like, oh shit, that's
it's hard. Yeah. Like there's like a difficulty jump like out of nowhere. Like you're just playing.
It's dynamic.
Yeah, man. You be just playing. You just be like, man, it's pretty easy. And then as soon as you get to an area, you're just like, wait a minute, where are all these people coming from?
Yeah.
But you know what's cool though, Slow-Mo, I don't mean to interrupt you, man, is that like once you got Marvel Ultimate Alliance, it just was a domino effect for you, man, on the Switch.
Yeah, I have so many games I need to get through right now. So many games I bought that I haven't even played yet. And I feel bad because like I got it for Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and then Fire Emblem came out a week later, and I was like, let me try it because it's my style. I love that strategy RPG stuff. I'm a dabble in it, but then go back to Ultimate Alliance. I ain't played Ultimate Alliance since Fire Emblem came out, man.
That sounds like GameStop credit, man.
No, but I'm all digital, so.
Oh, you're digital. Okay. You're one of those, as I call them. Okay. No, that's cool, man. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. I think it's cool because I remember you weren't going to buy the Switch, and now it's like I think you primarily game on it now, right?
I would say probably right now, as of right now, it all depends on games. Because, as soon as PlayStation drops some fire, I'm all on PlayStation for like the foreseeable future.
Well, we got
last
Kojima.
Last week I was all Xbox with Gears 5, and I beat the campaign, and now I'm just like back to Fire Emblem. So yeah, it's all about like whatever's out right now, and of course like Borderlands is out now. So like of course I'm gonna be playing that. Like I expect to put more hours in Borderlands 3 than I did the Division.
Oh shit.
So,
okay. Yeah. Speaking of PlayStation exclusives, and I know this is kind of an off-topic thing, but anyone concerned over Death Stranding? I mean, we saw some more gameplay footage from Hideo Kojima at Tokyo Game Show. And Eric, I know you and I talked about this a little bit, how he's showing more of the Norman Reedus traversing through the wilderness, or not the wilderness, but what looks like the Great Plains. And Eric and I were talking. We're like, well, wait a minute. What about the stuff he showed us prior to all the Norman Reedus stuff?
Yeah.
Remember, was it Troy Baker's character or the antagonist and Troy Baker?
Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Matt Mikkelsen. Like there's that trailer of Matt Mikkelsen. Yeah, like he's like in Vietnam or something, and then he's in World War II.
The battle, the war. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
he does not want to show it.
So let me ask you the thing, guys. Is he trolling us?
Yeah, I think so.
Listen, I don't think he's trolling us, but I think here's his take on it, right? And you can say what you want, but that's his take on it. Whether it fails or not, it's totally going to be up to Kojima, and I would show it. But he doesn't want to focus at all on that type of stuff. It's there, it's in the game, but he wants you to focus on the message of the game or whatever he is most important in the game to him. He calls it he says it's an action game. So obviously it's an action. You're doing stuff. He showed the hand-to-hand combat. He showed you shooting with a rifle one time. All that earlier footage he showed us. And now he just doesn't want to focus on it anymore. And it's just really weird to me because people are asking, and I get it. The masses, right? They want the shooters. They want the pew-pew. They want the action of it. They don't care about the climbing. They don't care about the traverse.
They don't care about Norman Reedus peeing on a mushroom either.
Yes. But,
but all of Kojima's games have weird stuff like that.
Yes, this is true.
That's true. But people are begging for him to stop doing that and show them what they want to see.
Well, and everyone's got to realize, though, Jay, is, Kojima in the video game world, he's the Martin Scorsese of video games. You know what I mean? Like, so, there's some Scorsese flicks that everybody will be like, no, Moot, you're offline. Scorsese did this, he did this, he did this. Yeah, he did. But I think Scorsese also made Mars Attacks, right? And everyone's like, what the hell is that? Right?
Exactly.
So every once in a while, right? Everyone, and don't get me wrong, after the fourth, fifth time you watched it, you're like, this movie's funny. It's great. This is the same thing. You've got a lot of great talent in this game, but he's not showing you that because I've been following him now for literally 3 years now on Twitter. He is all about film. Everything with him is like he's taking movie snapshots, art, film, this, that, books. So he's almost taken and I don't know if you guys follow Sam Lake, but that's the other thing I've been trying to say with Control is don't pick up Control and think it's just going to be it's not that kind of, you want that, go get Borderlands. That's not what this is. This is something you got to piece together. Myself personally, to answer your original question, Enrique, was, do you think that, are we concerned or something? I'll be honest with you. I think there's more intrigue around Death Stranding now. I think some people that were on the fence are definitely a yes. I think some no's are now just on the fence. So I think because people are like, what is this?
Yeah.
And that if you're into YouTube, and I don't mean on YouTube, I mean if you're just watching, if you want to be enthralled and know what people are talking about, there's nothing else really coming out mid-November on to the end of this year. So that's going to be the what's what and what's happening. So I'm not saying everyone's going to run out to go get it, but I think the mystery and intrigue here actually has gamers We have been shooting up. We've got Gears, we've got Borderlands, we've got Control. There's other things that are all just shoot. This is a little bit more, it takes a sidestep, and I think it's maybe going to grab an audience that normally wouldn't be there for this. So I'm actually more intrigued than I even was before the 50 minutes, which I got to be honest with you, that 50 minutes, part of it, you scratch your head like, what the hell am I watching right now? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when he keeps putting more like boxes on Norman Reedus, and I'm like, this isn't physically possible for you to carry that many boxes on your back.
Like, I don't know where you're going with this.
You're like the Michelin Man.
I actually applaud the differentness. Kind of to Mooch's point, it's something different, right? We have 100 shooters out there, whether it's a cover shooter, whether it's a first-person shooter. That's all they focus on. And to have another game like that in the market, yeah, it doesn't do anything different. But he's doing something that's different where think about it. For the last, week and a half now, we've just been talking about Death Stranding. He's keeping that attention.
Mm-hmm.
And whether that's the game for you, for some people, it's not the game for them.
That's right.
But
that's a good point,
for me, I'm sold.
Mm-hmm.
I was sold on the graphics. I was just the mere fact that this guy hasn't made a game that was under 90 Metacritic in 30 years of making games. So I know it's not going to be a dud.
Wasn't Zone of the Enders under? I thought Zone of the Enders was under 90 Metacritic. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But
I'll just look
it up.
The Metacritic of all the Metal Gear games, the games that I bought and I cared about, and they've all been highly rated. I just refuse to believe that Sony's just going to watch this guy just dangle a dud, and they're just going to finance this dud, and I just refuse that Sony's going to do that. So I think it's something to it. He refuses to show us what a lot of people want to see, and take it or leave it.
You got to look at the whole scale here, the spectrum from the beginning to the end with Kojima. And again, that's why I make the Scorsese reference. There's the movies that we all know that he made that are amazing, but there's a lot of movies that only made it to certain film festivals. But it won a lot of film festival awards. All of us would have no interest in those movies. None. Zero. So this is one of those intriguing things where you say, here comes a coveted developer. He's got ridiculous amount of accolades. He's got an unbelievable track record. Whether you like them or not, he's awarded. He knows what he's doing. I want to see where he's going with this. This might be his Mars Attacks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, that's the one thing. That's the one thing you got to kind of just keep in mind. You know what I mean? So, like I said, if it doesn't interest you, I'm not here to sell you on it.
Yeah.
But I really can't see you at the end of the year after you've just done literally anywhere from 60 to 360 hours of shooters. Why you wouldn't want to try something different? It's definitely intriguing at the least.
Yeah.
Well, I want to add on to that too, because I saw Worry, and I think B replied to it earlier. I saw it on Twitter.
The sperm thing.
Saying, no, not the sperm thing. He was saying maybe he feels like he's getting older, but it's like a lot of games now just feel samey. And he Gears as an example. Gears is a great game. It's definitely high up there. It could even possibly be right now, in my talk of game of the year, just on.
Tread lightly, E.
Oh wow!
Don't say it's more Gears. You'll get.
I don't give a damn about that, man. It is more Gears, but that's not. But at the same time, it's the fifth game in the Gears, and it's not saying that there's franchise fatigue around. I know we're going to get into that later, but it is what it is. You know what you're getting into, right? So here comes something that could spark. Something new. And I know people get on this way where it's either Kojima's overrated to them or he gets too much clout. And a lot of that may be true. But, I mean, the dude has been responsible for some of the biggest franchises in gaming. So there should be respect on it. And I see cats, try to downplay it and be like, oh, and they make fun of the whole Jeff Keighley thing and the whole nine. It's like, dude, I see the baby bird syndrome on Twitter every day when an executive tweets something and they're like, hey, notice me.
Yeah.
Boy.
One of these dudes that they be doing the same thing Jeff Keighley does with Kojima. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But the fact of the matter is, like you said, the game has people talking.
Yeah, I mean,
because of the intrigue. Because you get a trailer for Call of Duty. People say, "Oh, that looks fire. That looks hot. I'm gonna play that." And then what else? What else you gonna say? It's more Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Right. And sort of like what Rich was saying. There's guys like Kojima. There's guys like Sam. I don't think in any way they consider themselves necessarily just game designers. These guys are they consider themselves filmmakers who work in gaming.
Yeah,
right.
Interesting.
Curators.
They're
video game curators.
Let me interject for a moment.
Are you gonna comment about the sperm, Slow-Mo?
Well, no, I already commented in the chat about the sperm. It can get you. You know, you can be incarcerated for 18 years with that sperm. You never know. Yeah. Anyway, so Kojima. Matter of fact, because E brought it up, Kojima and Sam Lake, and this is a criticism I had about Control. So, and it's something that I also noticed in Quantum Break as well. Now, with Quantum Break, I actually liked the story, but I thought the implementation, not just the full long TV episodes that they interjected in like intermissions of each chapter, but my biggest issue with Quantum Break was some of the best storytelling was in like stuff you had to read, and you could completely miss it. Like for example, right around the big chamber is in Quantum Break, you read like the journal of the girl who was stuck in time, and that was like riveting stuff. I would have really enjoyed if that was something that was I could actually see.
Same thing you did in Control too, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to get to. He did the same thing in Control, but it's like on overload in Control. It's like in every room there's like 3 like correspondence and emails and notes just lying around, and it's just like at some point I realized, I'm like, yo, I've probably spent about these last 10 minutes I probably spent 5 or 6 of it just reading stuff, and it's interesting stuff, but I would love if it was somehow implemented into the game. For example, in Control, when you find out what your pistol, your service pistol really is,
what it really is,
throughout history, it's been Thor's hammer. It's been all kinds of different, like, legendary caliber, legendary weapons. I would have loved to, like, find that out.
Enrique.
Spoilers.
Enrique, nobody going through and reading all that.
Hey, look, you find that out. You find that out in the first hour of Control. So I wouldn't really anything in the first hour. I don't really consider a spoiler. But regardless, there are people who probably miss that because you're just picking stuff up and you're just like, oh, I don't feel like reading that. You end up missing some parts of a very interesting story. So
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
And Kojima's weirdness, like, I'm not a Kojima fan. I will fully admit that. And I fully admit I enjoy joking on Kojima and Jeff Keighley's man crush on him and all that stuff. But I will say the dude is a pioneer in gaming. That's something that no one can ever take away from him. And he has helped create a lot of the foundation of things that we see in gaming now, especially with Metal Gear Solid 1, the first one. I mean, just completely put the entire gaming industry on its head and changed everything.
Yep.
Yet, even though everybody on the panel talks about how we want something different, and we're tired of just shoot, blow stuff up. Tired of the Gears format or the Borderlands format, looter shooters, first-person shooters. But get a story that just I know different, cool. I'm cool with different. I love different stuff. I play different kind of games all the time. I just need to understand what the hell's going on. That's all I need. So like, give me different, but wheel it in a little bit, like peanut mushroom, like peeing and growing mushrooms. Like, where does this? Like, I know we're not supposed to get the full like connections of everything now. I just hope like when the game comes out and I get the game, because I'm going to get the game, that it all comes together. And I'm like,
Slow-Mo, I think with this Kojima game, you're going to get a little bit of what you want, but I still think at the end, even with the cinematographic or the cinematography he's going to put in there, I think we're still going to be lost a little bit. And I'll tell you why. Like, even when we saw that 7-8 minute clip of the whole Oval Office there, and they had the president come out, and they had that whole, like, that I thought was great. It was cool. But the thing mentally I was saying to myself was, I'm like, okay, that scene was great, but I don't see how you're tying that into the other 50 minutes I saw. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like it. And then if you remember back to what we saw at E3, what was it, 2 years ago, what they showed, that was like, remember they were like outside and the babies were under a bridge in the sewer and like, that didn't really work hand in hand with the Oval Office. The Oval Office doesn't really go hand in hand with Norman Reedus in the ladder. And I'm like, all right, I like what you're doing on all 3 separately. How the hell are you tying this together? So That's the thing. So you almost got to play the game to figure it out. And at the end, we might come back on the show and be like, it didn't tie together. This wasn't what I wanted. So I don't know. Or it might be the best thing we've ever seen or a creative genius. You never really know. This might be one of those movies that doesn't make it to the Oscars. It only wins that film festival award, you know?
Right. Mooch, I think you make sorry. I just want to say something real quick. I think you make a good point, Mooch, especially because when you were talking, it reminded me of a game that, if you guys remember, like I first started The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, and I got mad. I was like, and I said it on Brap, I was like, this game's horrible. I don't know what people talking about.
That's a good game,
people been talking this game up. This game is straight doo-doo butter. It's trash. It's dumpster juice. Don't play it. And I'm like, I'm going to finish it, but it don't make no sense. I finished it, and I was like, I came back on. I was, hey, you know what? I was wrong. My bad. Like,
I think I had that roller coaster of emotions with that same game.
Yeah, because like you get to the end, and then it all comes together.
Yeah, it does.
Like, oh no!
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you see how everything that was so confusing, and it's only
it's
like a 4 or 5 hour game. So
not
like,
even. I think it's like 3 max.
Yeah. So it's like, well, if you get lost in those like puzzle like
If
you houses, that might take you a little while. But regardless, it's like when you get to the end, it all comes together. And so like those kind of stories, I can really appreciate and recommend, because it's like you're confused in the beginning, but it's okay to be confused then, because then there's a payoff at the end. What I hate is when like you get to the end of a game and the ending is open ended on purpose. And then, like, the creator's like, I want you to figure out what it really means. I'm like, no, you lazy bastard. That's just you just not finishing your story. Like, I don't I don't want to see that.
Maybe it's the artistic value that the developer's trying to bring to the game.
Yeah,
I think they want you to feel a certain way.
No, almost saying they give you the Sopranos ending. Like, was he killed, or did they just finish dinner?
Right. It's a cop out. You know, like give me that Breaking Bad ending. I know exactly what happened to everybody in this story.
Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah. Well, Strat4Kid in live chat saying Kojima saying a lot of playtesters have cried over the ending. I did see somebody tweet. I think it was one of the testers on Twitter talking about the impact of the game the impact the game had on her, and how she cried at the end of it, and said it's one of the most emotionally impactful things she's ever played or seen or something. I don't know, something to that effect. So who knows? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. But I think, like you said earlier, Mooch, I think it might be a nice break from the norm, considering what we've been playing. Gears,
absolutely.
Borderlands. If you're in a COD, Call of Duty's coming out.
You got Doom Eternal. I mean, look at what we're talking about. We're talking about games that are 60 frames and just blasting everything in sight.
Yeah.
Right? It's very little brain power. Just have fun. Go out there. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for every type of game.
I agree with
and
that.
That's why I'm like, right now, if we had just serious, like in-depth, reading Sam Lake style game that over and over and over again, we would probably be tired out and not in the mood to figure out Kojima's puzzle. But to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to that's one of those things where you get yourself, you get yourself a large pizza, you get your favorite beverage, and you got to home in on that game. You know what I mean? That's where you're like, I'm not taking any calls. Right. You know what I mean? I got to have my attention front and center. So I like that kind of stuff. And again, what does it do for me personally, especially with the opportunity we all get the podcast? Man, you want to talk about some great roundtable discussions off of a game like that?
Absolutely.
Nobody's going to have the same opinion. Probably nobody's going to have the same attack towards the game. And that's really what really gets me kind of amped to play the game.
That's a true conversation starter right there. It's nobody's going to have that same experience.
Yeah,
exactly. That's going to be that Oprah Book Club game.
That's a great point.
It's great, man.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I actually like those conversations, because you get different perspectives from different gamers and how a certain game made them feel, or how they interpreted certain things that happened in that game. And this could be one of those games. So it's definitely day one for me, even with the peeing on the mushrooms and the stuff with the sperm that I've been reading about, and Norman Reedus punching the camera if you look at his crotch, that kind of weird stuff.
It is weird.
Hey, but he did troll, man, because he knows.
I think he's trolling, man.
People talk about him and Jeff Keighley. What's the first thing he did? He showed that Jeff Keighley's in the game,
and then he said that's not Jeff Keighley's voice. It's just his face. It's not even his voice. And Kojima.
And people need to let Jeff Keighley and Kojima live. Let them live.
Yeah, right.
Let them be.
Yeah, let them be, exactly. Kojima has a history of trolling. His biggest troll, if you guys remember, was Metal Gear Solid 2, when he did the old bait and switch when he showed.
Oh, people were hot about that.
Oh,
man.
yeah, I was. Yeah, but it's funny looking back now. A lot of people like the character riding now Metal Gear Solid 2, years later after the fact.
Yeah.
So,
Then
I don't think there's anything to
people
worry
took that
about.
game back.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
Jay.
don't
What'd you
think
say, man?
I said I don't think there's anything to worry about. I just know for a fact there's just a lot of people. No matter how this game was going to turn out, if it wasn't a first-person shooter, or if it wasn't, something like that, they weren't going to be interested in it. But for everybody else, a lot of people at least are talking about it, and sounds like they're intrigued about it. And yeah, I mean, I think the game's going to do good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, November's right around the corner, so we'll find out
Yeah.
soon enough. But guys, I do want to move on to the next topic. I want to talk about Gears of 5. Everyone on this panel's played it. I don't know how many of us have. Well, I know I finished it. Ease finished it. Slow-mo, I think you just finished it.
Yeah, I finished it last week.
Mooch, have you finished Gears?
Act 3, buddy.
Act
I'm
3.
telling you, I would have had it done. I said it on the show a few times. I had to start the game over because I had that one. Apparently, they fixed that bug, but where Jack has to progress with you.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I did that section over and over and over again. Finally, I just started over. Then it let me go through. And so by that, and I mean, I got to blame some football in there too. Take a couple other things.
A little Borderlands 3.
Right. Now Borderlands 3 came out, and I'm like, I even said, I'm like, on the way home, I'm like, you're going to go home. You need to finish Act 3. Go home, finish Act 3. Play that till Brap. And I'm like, I'll do that. I get home. What do? Literally, almost like my thumb has full control over the whole body. It goes right to Borderlands 3. So it pushed me off. I will get Gears done this weekend because I want to finish it. I've always played every Gears in its entirety. I'll probably play it through twice. I'll play it through again. But yeah, no, looking forward to finishing that game, but only on Act 3 currently.
Yeah, and B, I think you just started playing it too, right?
Yeah, I'm at the end of Act 2.
Okay, gotcha. And I think Jada, I think you said you beat it too, right?
Yeah,
Right.
on PC.
Hey, J-Dub, in Act 4, left or right?
Left.
Okay.
Me
too.
Spoilers.
Listen,
No spoilers! Hey, get out of here!
everybody has asked me that.
It's not spoilers.
Yes,
All I
you
said
know
was-
what? It could be a spoiler though. When
Now I'm gonna think left.
see,
You don't even know what left or right is. Left
right,
is
let's
I have
actually-
no idea. If we were in the
Look, hey, Mooch, I'm just
if
telling
we
you,
were in the
right
car
now.
on the way to picking up a pizza, right? And I know it's a right-hand turn to the pizza shop, and you say left. I'm so
Mooch,
hungry, I might make that left. Go ahead.
Mooch, it's like, look, what's in left is whether you're getting a hand job or right.
Oh,
whether you
okay, all right.
So there you go.
You're going down that Kojima chain again. Hold
Yes,
on.
yeah. Yes. All right. I want to talk about Gears 5. We're not going to talk about the story. We're going to talk about early sales numbers that have come out of the UK. And somebody tweeted this earlier today. Basically, Gears opening week of the UK listed all the Gears of War games. And I'll go down that list real quick. Gears of War did 100,000 units in its first opening week in the UK. Gears 2 did 220. Gears 3 did 323. Judgment did 80K. No surprise there. Gears Ultimate Edition did 40K. Gears 4 did 92K. And Gears 5 did 23,000 units in its opening week. Now, I don't know if this is an indicator of the game just poo-pooing it because as you all know, Mooch, as you say, 99 cents got you Ultimate Game Pass and
That's right.
the option to play this game early access, right?
Right.
So, is this? And I've seen people running around with this that it's this game is failing. It's it's terrible. There's terrible. These are terrible numbers. But I think there's a little bit more than just physical here. I think there's probably some impact from Game Pass. And Aaron Greenberg tweeted out today that they had 3 million, players this weekend on Gears 5. Now we don't know, percentage-wise, how much of that is, we don't know how many Game Pass subscribers they are, right? I mean, that could be maybe half of the Game Pass subscribers on Xbox One, Maybe it's less than that. We don't know. But what do you guys think? I mean, is this kind of the impact of Game Pass, or do you think there just isn't enough interest in Gears now?
There's one thing that no one. I saw all the banter and discussion going on Twitter today, but the one thing nobody brought up was something that I said a long time ago, and I said, "Geez, I'm shocked. I wanted to wait all day and see if anybody brought it up, but I didn't see it because when Gears 5 came out, okay, I got a bunch of people being like, "There you go, Mooch. There it is." I went and I Hulu, there's an advertisement there. I went to the movie theater the day it came out. There it is. I've seen it in the movie theater, an advertisement for Gears 5. I mean, listen, I did not go to school for marketing, okay? But I can tell you this much. You don't advertise your game hard the day it comes out.
The day it comes out.
Right.
Okay.
That don't make sense.
So that's one of the reasons you're seeing such low sales physical copy-wise. We'll get into there's more to this. There's a lot of layers to peel on this onion, guys. But one of the things was, Aaron Greenberg, we got a strong campaign coming out for marketing. No, you don't. You do not release your campaign for marketing the day the game comes out. It doesn't matter at that point. You got to build we say this all the time. We do it for podcasts. You got to build the hype. If you don't build the hype up, why would you want to why as the listener or the player do you want to put your butt in the seat? So it's all of that. Look at, we're talking about Kojima. All of us went from what the hell is that to I'm probably gonna pick it up. Okay,
Yeah.
So that's the hype factor. In case anybody's not picking up the 1+1 I'm trying to do here. Then it kind of evolves. Then you have to peel the onion back again. And when you get past the fact that they didn't do any marketing, I don't care if they did marketing the day of. Again, to me, that's too late. I think if you ask anybody who's a marketing guru, they'll tell you that's too late. But at the same time, I think that Game Pass definitely had an impact. And I said this a while ago too. I said, you have to understand something. All the discussions, and I don't want to use the word argument, but I would say the discussions that are going on right now on YouTube and on Twitter, I think everybody will agree with me that these discussions are happening with the hardcore. And the hardcore gamers are saying, how can you argue Game Pass? It's the best deal ever for a gamer. Nobody's arguing that. But the thing is that the hardcore, if you'll think about that in terms of just Microsoft, not hardcore Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, just Microsoft. Let's say out of the 40 million consoles out there, okay, let's say 10 million are the hardcore. Those were the people that went out and bought the copies, the physical copies, bought the Ultimate Edition, bought the thing that came when you went and got the package, brought it home, and it had a little lancer, a statue, of this, a keychain, right? 2 scratch and sniffs, okay? Right? And that we were the ones that spent $150 on the game, right?
Mooch, I don't even want to know what a gear scratch sniff would smell like.
Either, to be honest with you. Okay? But they're probably going to throw that in there at one point or another. But I mean, the point of the matter here is now you take all the hardcore, and the hardcore are the first ones to tell you this. They'll say, I would definitely buy at least two Microsoft games a year. There's my money right there for Game Pass. Sign me up. Plus I get the other 188 games in there. Well, listen, no one's arguing with you. And for 99 cents, how can anybody ever argue with you? But the problem is this. Those were the people that were going out and spending the 60 to 150, whether you get the standard, the middle, the deluxe or the super deluxe, if you will, edition. Now you took all of those people out. In order for Game Pass to be the Netflix of gaming, you need the casual. The problem is, if anybody's listening to the show or on the panel right now has a casual friend that games, I know I do. I have my friends that all have Xboxes in their house. They also have NBA 2K20, Madden, or they're waiting for Call of Duty. Period. That's it.
And none of those games are on Game Pass.
But that's not even where I'm going with this. They don't know if I went up to 3 of them right now and I was like, hey guys, you won't believe it. Gears is going to be pretty good. Gears is great. When does Gears come out? That's what they would say to me. I'll be, it's out. They don't know. So what I'm trying to say is the casual consumer doesn't know about this great deal. Microsoft's not advertising it properly. So there's a lot, like I said, and there's actually, and I want to hear the rest of the panel. I don't take up the whole show. But I mean, this is the many issues, okay, the 6 degrees of why you're seeing Gears kind of not ending up big on the sales chart. And in that 3 million active users, I just want you guys to know what that means. That means if somebody who has Game Pass was going to click on Devil May Cry 5, and stopped at Gears and clicked on it and goes, "Oh, that wasn't the game," and they back out, you're an active user.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's not even. So it's not even like people that have actually played like at least a half hour.
The minute you turn it on, it's ping.
Yep.
You're a check mark. So I mean, and I'm being a bit funny, but I'm just trying to say to you.
But Mooch, it's also across PC and Xbox too, though, the 3 million, right?
Well, that just betters the case. Because now we're not just talking about just Xbox. Now you're talking about 3 million when you hypothetically have 40 million Xbox Ones in the wild, and you guys tell me 100 million PCs. I mean, so realistically, that number keeps shrinking down, and then when you look at the physical sales at 23K, that's only the UK. Okay, we have to wait till next month till we see NPD numbers, but I'm not expecting it to be massive.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you take all of that there, and it's not that it's bad. It's not bad. Maybe this is Microsoft's intent, but I mean, if you were to be able to get the hardcore, this is what I said. If I was in the boardroom before they came out and made the major announcement 2 years ago, okay, I would have said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put all of our first-party games, PC Ultimate Game Pass and console Game Pass, we'll put them in there 30 days after the game releases, physical, digital, normal sales. Because then what you do is you got everybody that wants to play games. What have you done for me lately? They were going to run out, go get their game, get the collector's edition, spike sales. And then guess what? PC players weren't playing any Microsoft game first party ever anyway.
That's true.
So they would have been very happy with going from never to 30-day wait.
Yeah.
What? No, now it's Monday morning quarterback, right? Now everybody, Mooch, come on! I want it day one. Well, yeah, but if they didn't tell you that, you still would have loved Game Pass and waited 30 days. See, this is the thing. So that's what I'm trying to say to you is what you ended up doing by doing such an amazing deal on Game Pass is if you've gotten the people that went out and spent the most money. And now you took a consumer that spent between 60 and 150, and now they gave you 99 cents.
Mm-hmm.
We got to remember
that's the problem.
Let's remember that Gears 5 is also on Steam, by the way. So when I say PC, we're talking about Steam as well.
Right.
Steam and the Windows Store. Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to I want to quote something that Matt Piscatello said from MPD. He said, up till now, sales data suggests that launching on Game Pass has had an amplifier effect when it comes to sales. Well-received games sell better than would otherwise be expected and vice versa. Big question is whether early access with Ultimate for Gears changes that. That's kind of like the big question mark that I have. I'd love to pick Matt's brain, and see what he thinks, just seeing some of these early numbers out of the UK. Jay, I want to go to you because you sound like you wanted to chime in and give us some thoughts on Gears 5.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. I think it was ultimately a trade-off. Microsoft saw this generation that the hardware sales weren't there. A lot of the software game sales weren't there. So they had to make a change. And they made a change and they bet on Game Pass, a Netflix service. There's a small entry price, $9.99 a month. And for most cases, you can spend $1 to $2. And get upgraded for 3 years. Now, I know there's a lot of people who took advantage of the $2 deal, the $1 deal to get it for 3 years or whatever. And so those aren't the people that went out and spent any money for Gears. The people who went out and spent money for Gears are the Steam people on PC who just refused to sign up for any service. And then you have those people who, for whatever reason, the diehard Gears, the Xbox guys, they're going to support Gears regardless. And yeah, they know they can get it for $1, but they're going to go ahead and spend that $60. Everybody else just got it in Game Pass. And like me, admittedly, I signed up for Game Pass because there was a game that was coming out that I want to play, which is Gears. So I took advantage of the $1 deal, got it. Now I get to play Gears for 30 days to my heart's content. I beat it already, and then I can just walk away and wait till next year to something that Microsoft has for me that's enticing, and that's it.
But don't you think, Jay, that they're trying to entice you past that 30 days? When you add things like the Horde mode and all those other online features, aren't they betting on that? Like with we talked about Fortnite earlier, and the new generation of gamers, they tend to want a game with their friends and do a lot of online multiplayer. I mean, aren't they kind of hedging their bets that, you know what, we're going to keep people engaged. They're going to want to buy the game eventually, go past 30 days because they're going to want to play Horde. They're going to want to play, Team Deathmatch.
They're hoping on that. Now, here's the problem, right? Game Pass does not lock you into a contract. You can just spend your $9 and play it an extra month if you want to, or 2 months. You don't have to be locked into it. And I think that was probably maybe the failing part of it that I see. Maybe if they would have locked me into a 3-year contract or a 12-month contract, then I could say, yeah, I understand. But like a lot of people, and there's millions of people who are going to do the exact same thing that I did. When a good game comes out or is about to drop, I'll subscribe, play it, beat it. Once
OBJ
I'm done,
does that.
I'll let it. Yeah, but why not?
Yeah, OBJ does that.
Why not? Yeah. Well, why not? I get it, right? They have other games, but those games don't entice me. Gears entice me. Halo, Forza entices me. There's no other game out right now on Game Pass that says, okay, Jay, go ahead and sign up for it. The third-party games I've already bought them.
Well, Jay, let me ask you this, though. If there was no Game Pass and no first party in Game Pass day one, would you have spent $60 to $100 on Gears? Right.
Yes, because I had no choice.
Correct. I think all of us would.
We all would have.
The moment you give me an option to spend less or to play your game without actually spending money, I'm going to do it. And guess what? The $60 that I saved by not buying Gears, I went and bought Borderlands 3 with it. So instead of giving Microsoft that $60, I gave it to somebody else.
You give it to 2K,
That's the puzzling thing about this, guys. I don't know what to say, man.
Don't you think
it's a great deal for the consumer, but the strategy is not a long term. It can't possibly.
I think they're betting on it being a long term strategy. Like, hey, let's get this guy. But
you guys
in our ecosystem, though.
Here's what we're forgetting here. It's not just the Gears budget. Would it be safe to say that the Halo budget's probably around $100 million? This one could have been anywhere from $50 to $75 million for Gears, maybe more. And then you have a deal like that went through, the numbers came out. A simple game like Devil May Cry 5 cost Microsoft $19 million to put into Game Pass.
That's insane.
So what I'm trying to say to you is, and you guys got to ride with me on this, if there's 40 million consoles out there, which is being generous, and I'm saying 10 million customers are Game Pass customers, and of course the numbers range, right? Anywhere from 99 cents to $1.99 to $4.99. There's been sales for $4.99, and then there's a few select. I don't think many. There's a few select that are still paying $9.99. Okay, but for the most part, even if you do the average in there, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a situation right now where you have these games, okay, like Gears, which has got 3 million people, okay, and just to use the easy numbers, you say 99 cents, that's $3 million, right? So what I'm trying to say to you, that doesn't include all the money that when you guys see these WoWs and these other games like Devil May Cry and Doom and Borderlands 2, they're paying these people for that, right? Not all 19 million. Some are 7 million, some are 5 million, some are 4 million, but their first parties are 100 million, 75 million. What I'm trying to say to you is that, and that's what Jay's saying, is it's not sustainable. Without the masses, without the casuals joining, it doesn't work. And especially the fact that what you have right now, let's say that my numbers are right. 10 million out of the 40 million concerts, 10 million people have Game Pass. That 10 million, majority of that 10 million was the hardcore. They're the ones that were giving you your bread and butter on your first party games in the first place. Now you've got everybody saying the same thing. I buy Halo, I buy Gears. It's worth it for me to have for a year. I'm getting those games for $1. I was going to give them 120 minimum for Gears and Halo. So this is where it all comes out to. How is this going to be sustainable moving forward? If this is what Microsoft's calling a success, what I personally was waiting for from Aaron Greenberg was I was looking for 8 to 10 million people actively using it and then seeing it go up. The problem is he said 3 million in the initial weekend. Well, we saw that it went from number 1 on Xbox being the most played to like number 12 already now. And it went from like Twitch 1, 2, or 3 to like you got to search forever to find it. It's not going to go back up again. So those numbers maxed on the user base. You know what I'm trying to say? So
has Ninja streamed the game since the night before?
It won't matter.
No, I'm just asking the question.
Well, the answer, whoever said that is 100% right. It doesn't matter, because that's the truth of the matter. B, if that's you, it doesn't matter. B's right. It don't matter.
Yeah.
But okay, let me ask you. This is the bigger question, right? Somebody at Microsoft had this bright idea. There's always somebody sitting in a chair, and you're making these decisions, right? The decision to buy Ninja, the decision to, have Gears on Game Pass and everything else. Somebody's making these decisions. Who is that guy, and what is this guy like? What is he trying to accomplish? Yeah. And do you think he's accomplishing it with that?
Hey, J-Dub, real quick. I want to interrupt you real quick, and I'll let you chime in here, Slow-Mo, because I want to go to One Bad Mother in live chat, because I think this is kind of what he thinks Microsoft's trying to do, that and their long-term game plan is. One Bad Mother says, what was Netflix in year one? This is about hitting critical mass prior to 5G blowing up in the next 3 to 5 years. Start with the hardcore. Can't look at it in a vacuum. That's what he's saying. Slow-Mo, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
And Netflix is also still in debt. So
yes.
Well, Netflix is exactly. That's a good point, B. Netflix is losing money. They're in the red right now because they're trying to keep up with like HBO and try to create new content. Slow-Mo, you
not only that, Microsoft already has an install base, right? They've been having an install base for 12, 15 years.
Yeah. Well, they got to convince us to make a switch.
You can't say, hey, I'm going to risk my base for something in the future in 3 to 4 years to come. Once those people leave, they're never coming back.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of them left to the 360 and probably aren't coming back.
Yeah.
From the PlayStation 4, but they got to convince us. They got to convince the people like you said that have been on Xbox Live for like me. I've been on Live for 18 years now. They got to convince us to stay and to buy into this. Slow-Mo, you were going to chime in, man.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to say. So let me bear with me for a second. So to One Bad Mother's point, and something that he said, and I think somebody was like, "Well, Netflix is in debt." That's true, but then also they're not in debt because of this model. They're in debt because they had to initially, they were not making their own original content, and they had to license a lot of content from Hollywood. Hollywood did not want Netflix, period. So what Hollywood did was it would be illegal for them to say, we will not allow you to have this content because we don't like your business model. What they did was they priced it so high that Netflix basically had to keep borrowing money from banks and whatnot on credit in order to be able to stay in business. Now they are the biggest streaming service there is. And yes, they're getting a lot of money from people in revenue. But as you see, they keep throwing ideas at you. They keep coming out with more original content because if they got that original content, no matter how much they pay for it, at least they don't have to pay a licensing fee to someone else, which is part of the reason why they were okay with Disney taking back those Marvel shows, because that's not their original content. They can't actually make enough money off of that. They got to pay Disney a certain amount of money. So they had to give, they were fine with giving that back to them because they want, if they're going to have a superhero show, it's going to be something they made originally or someone came to them with that's original content. Now, to bring this into Xbox and the questions of why they're doing this doesn't make sense. This model doesn't work. It is like and I'm not saying it's going to work, but their philosophy is, as One Bad Mother is saying, it's a long-term thing. This is not for us. We look at everything as if because this is how I feel about it, and this is what I do, this is what everyone does. But that's just not reality. The reality is there are people who sign up for services and forget they exist until they look at their bank statement. It's like, what the hell is this? What's Game Pass? A year later, oh crap, I did sign up for that. I got freaking Crunchyroll. You want to tell me the last time I actually logged into Crunchyroll? It was last year. But I'm still paying for it. People do this crap all the time, and they are banking on that. They're banking on that for a part of the demographic. Now, for the hardcore,
Slow-mo, that's the old gym membership trick.
Yeah, the whole gym membership trip. Why am I paying $10 a month? Whose World's Gym? Oh yeah, I did do that for 2 months.
On Monday, I'm going.
Yeah, but you never do.
Can we quick?
This happens. Well, this happens all the time. That's only a segment of the demographic. Now, also, you sign up for Game Pass Ultimate, and they give you that. Hey, you already had Xbox Live for a year and a half, so we're going to extend that out to a year and a half for you. Mm-hmm. You like what, for $1? I got you. I got over on you. Okay, watch what happens when that expires.
Right.
You don't go back to $60 for Xbox Live, and I can just jump on Game Pass whenever I feel like. Your account is stuck on Game Pass Ultimate, $15 a month. Mm-hmm. They got you. So there's that. And then there's also really the crux of the entire model where Matt Piscatella is like, well, you know what? These people making money. They're making money. Like everyone keeps saying this ain't gonna work, but they making money. This ain't gonna work. Yeah. But
no. Listen, nobody's saying that they're not making money.
Exactly. No one's saying
that they're not making.
They can be making more money.
Jay, hold on. This is what I'm saying. This is why they're making money. It's not. The first party games, Xbox Game Studios, those games, when they said these games will never leave Game Pass, that signaled to me these games are just bait. Now they want them to be the best quality games in Game Pass. That's what they want, but they're bait. That's why whenever they come out with Forza Horizon 4, when they're going to drop Ori 2 next year and Bleeding Edge, they're going to drop that subscription price down to $1. Because they want you to get in. And then once you get in, then the other AAA games that are there, like Devil May Cry 5 that showed up, like the next, could be Borderlands 3 at some point. We've seen multiple times where AAA games that released, like, say, 3-4 months ago, show up in Game Pass. Why? Because 90 days out after launch, you never recover the same level of sales that you were getting in those first 90 days. So of course, these publishers are throwing their games into Game Pass. If you didn't buy the game, now you can play the game, with your subscription.
You're seeing more and more people on Twitter every day say, wow, my subscriptions are all building up. I've got to start canceling some. And they do. You may not. Yeah. But what I'm saying to you is the thing that Enrique brought up and we'd mentioned before is the gym membership deal, right? That whole thing where that was fine when it was that in your cell phone. Now everything is on a monthly. Everything is on a monthly. I'm not even kidding you when I say everything. I mean almost everything. So now people are a little bit more conscious. So what you said, everything I agreed with you. The only thing I didn't agree with you was the minute that $1's up and it switches to $14.99, I'm out.
Everybody's going to be out.
We're out. Now see, I agree with Mooch and I agree with you, Jay, that you two will be out. But when you say everybody is going to be out,
a lot of people are going to be out once they see that. Listen, people are on a budget. That's what
you're doing is you're taking your mentality on how you treat subscription services and applying that to everyone.
Well, if
that was the case,
we apply the same thing with Netflix, and that includes everyone.
Exactly.
Netflix is still here, and you know what else? You know what else is still here? What's that Sony service that I can't remember the name of?
A View?
No, the other one. Well, the View. We could talk
PS
about that. No. There's another one. There's another one they came out with. It's kind of like Netflix.
Oh, PlayStation TV.
No, View. That's
but it's
View.
Still here.
That's
Hulu.
View.
Hulu is still here. And these services don't get the same subscription numbers as Netflix, and people don't watch them as often as they watch Netflix, but they still got subs.
But TV service, right? In video games are different. I know people try to compare them. I know they do, but think about it. People don't play video games every single day, but most people watch TV every single day.
I don't know about that.
So I'm just listen.
I
get what you're saying. It's a bait and switch.
Well, I would say it's
live. Crackle.
Let me ask you
it's Crackle. That's the name of it. Crackle.
The moment I have to spend a dime more it's going to be a problem.
But
and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Then I'll say this and then I'll shut up. Now that you got Gears in, that was great, right? Prior to Gears, there was nothing really for me. This is my opinion. There's nothing for me. Now the next game I'm anticipating is maybe Ori and the Blind Forest and Halo Infinite, right? So that's going to be a long, because everything else, I don't wait 3 and 4 months for a game to come to a service for me to play it. I want to play that game day one, like Borderlands, right? I got to have it day one. I'm not the gamer where I'm just going to sit. There's probably a lot of casuals that, hey, there's a lot of games in Game Pass that they didn't play or whatever, and that's great for them. But for me, no. If I don't get a game within a week or two afterwards, I'm forgetting all about that game.
Mm-hmm.
So how is Microsoft going to be able to sustain the games in Game Pass, right? How are they going to keep you coming back? Because they're not dropping a Gears type game every week or every month or every 3 months.
I think that's why
that is their I don't know if you guys remember or not, but there was that like the leak, not leak, but I guess people who were in an investors call with Microsoft, that's what they told them they wanted to do. They wanted a first party game released every quarter.
Not AAA game. They said,
not AAA games. So like Bleeding Edge would be one of those games.
Like double-A quality games.
This is one of their flagships, okay? Gears is one of their flagships. We can't sit here and think that a new IP by Compulsion Games is going to rope in anywhere near the power that the Coalition and Gears has. And if we're seeing these numbers here, and it's funny, when people put 3 million out there, the initial thought was that's a lot.
No, it's not.
But it's not. And that's when I saw that number, I was like, people are like, well, there you go. There it is, 3 million people. It's not like the old Call of Duty days while we were all waiting in a lobby. Remember when we used to see in the bottom left-hand corner, it's a 250,000 people playing?
Yes.
That's not 3 million people playing Gears.
Yeah.
That means 3 million people breezed by with their thumb, hit the A button, engaged, and left. Okay? That doesn't mean that they're all hanging out and can't wait to get into a lobby. So that's the peak. So what I'm trying to say to you is that this is not, when you're an investor, Microsoft is a very, very wealthy company. We all say this on podcasts every week. We all know that. But there is a point in time when you have 100 million for Halo, 50 to 70 million for Gears, so much for this one, so much for that one. All those top tier people they picked up for the initiative, those guys are making
people you pay every
lots
day.
of zeros on those checks, boys. All right. And if nobody's buying these subscriptions, which I'm telling you, the casual market, and I do agree with Slow-Mo, you really can't just use the census of me, Jay, Slow-Mo, Brap, B, and E. We can't just use us as the only census and the people in our world. It's not fair. But however, we do have to pull the pool that we know of, right? So when I go up to people that I know play NBA 2K like crazy, and I'm like, guys, really, it's $1. I've done this. It's $1. And they're like, yeah, that's cool. But like, in all honesty, this is what Jay was saying. I don't really play games like that. So even though that's cool, like I'm just not going to use it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think he meant by watching. When he said TV, you could fill in any other thing.
Yes.
And gaming. Gaming is I wouldn't use the word niche, but it's still a smaller demographic, okay? And I'm not talking about the people playing Candy Crush. Okay? I'm talking about the games that are in Game Pass, okay, are not Conquer and Conquest on your phone. Okay? It's different. Right, those folks are not all jumping in. And I'm telling you, you guys are right. These dollar deals, they're not here forever. They are literally a bait and switch. It's to get you in there. But
and let me just be clear. I'm not like an advocate for Game Pass here. Like I'm not a Microsoft investor or anything. Because I mean, damn, if I was, I'd be like, get on Game Pass now, motherfucker.
Do it now. Buy it now. Go now.
All I'm saying is that's their like business philosophy. Like
correct.
Jay was saying, like, who came up with this idea? I'm saying like this is what that was sold to Nadella, or at least this is what Nadella sold to Phil, and was like, make it happen. punk. And Phil was like, yes, sir, it's going to happen. So like someone in there was like, this is the model we're going to do. Because when you basically say, we're going to put our games on everything that we can put them on, and we're going to try to put Game Pass on everything we can put it on, and we're going to have $1 subscription service, and we're never taking our first party games out. And then we're giving big money to Capcom to put Monster Hunter World in and all kinds of stuff. Like when you're doing all that, you really want, I mean, I'm just going to, believe what you're telling me. You really want me to get Game Pass, huh? Like, it seems like you don't care if I get an Xbox,
guys. Real quick,
you care about if I get Game Pass.
Yeah, guys. Real quick, we talk about them like sustainability. I mean, they're making money anyway, though, right? I mean, you talk about making money off of Xbox Live, right? That's kind of like their bread and butter, and that's a subscription-based service. So they are making money. I mean, that's not. I don't think that's
because you gotta have Xbox Live in order to have Game Pass.
Well, and I think that's what I think the long term goal for them is, and I think Knox said this on Crossfire one time, Mooch. I think it was, hey, let's call a spade here. Game Pass is eventually going to be xCloud, and that's what it's going to evolve into, and that's when it becomes more like that Netflix type streaming service where you're going to have it on multiple devices, and that to me is a different sell. Like I'm okay with Netflix because. Because Comcast subsidized my Netflix subscription, which is smart that Netflix teamed up with them to do that. But two, I also get, multiple accounts, right? So my wife doesn't have to pay for Netflix so she can watch Netflix. And we can stream on multiple devices. I forget how many devices you can stream up to in Netflix. But that's like the other thing. Huh? Up to 5?
I think it's like 5.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but like probably somewhere in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the long term goal for them is this becoming xCloud, and then I think that's a different game changer. That to me is where, okay, now maybe it makes sense to pay that $15 a month because you're having access to content on different devices and not just at home. And maybe then they open it up to multiple accounts, kind of like.
Well, listen, I'm a fan of xCloud. I'm a fan of Stadia. But I will tell you this much. So at the end of the day, though. Too. I am a founder, not just a client. That's true. I got to be honest with you. I really think that
I have a conspiracy theory about Stadia. Not a conspiracy theory, a thing that I think they might do that might be a game changer for them. We'll talk about it later on, though. Go ahead.
Okay.
There are no game changers. Stop it.
I'm being serious.
I think when it comes down to it, when you look at the games that are in Game Pass, and are those necessarily the games that you want to play on your phone? Like, can you not wait to play Devil May Cry 5 on your tablet? Maybe. But I mean, when you say that that's the end goal, that's the end result, I think what you have now should already be a really good stepping stone. And if that's not a good stepping stone, if not playing these games, okay, all of these games at your access by the click of a button on a 65, 75-inch television with your coffee table, your favorite food and beverage in front of you, is that same pitch that much sweeter when you're sitting on a bus playing it crowded with your elbows tucked into your waist, being able to play Skyrim? I don't know. So my whole thing is that, yes, I see where you're leading up to, and I love the idea of xCloud. I really do. I mean, I travel. I think that I'm going to use that in thoroughly, but I don't know if necessarily that xCloud comes out and everyone's like, well, I was wrong. I need to get that. Like, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the bell that sets everybody off.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what wouldn't surprise me at all? And one, I'll say that I think, how months and months ago, we were always on Twitter, like, they need to drop the paywall. It's wrong that Xbox gamers have to pay $60 for online, and you don't have to do that on PC.
Games. Yeah, for free to play games. For free to play games.
Yeah. Also, for that too. And I think their response was Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. That's what their response was. It wouldn't even surprise me that don't be surprised that E3 they announced that for Scarlet, you're gonna get Scarlet with Game Pass Ultimate, just straight up. That's it. There's no differentiation. There's no Game Pass Standard and just Xbox Live. Like, that stuff is going to be.
Oh, you're saying it's going to be $14.99, period?
Yeah, that's it. And then it's just get your Scarlet.
The only reason I see where you're going, and one number is always a better business model, but the reason I don't think that's going to happen is just because I don't know if you can lump in mobile, console, and PC gamers all into that one category. I think it's
mobile gamers aren't going to pay subscription.
Yeah, mobile gamers definitely
they're
won't
not
pay.
going to do that.
Yeah.
Right, so they're not.
Yeah,
but now the question is, will console gamers want to play on PC?
Yeah.
Because if not, they would probably rather opt for the $9.99 package and not the $14.99.
Yeah, I don't think it will work, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. And as you guys saying about mobile gamers actually spend the most money in gaming, but they never pay for anything up front. They play free games, and after they get hooked in, then they start spending money in large amounts.
Yep.
But it comes after like a good 15 to 20 hours.
What's going on, and I mean nobody talks about it because it's kind of, we talk about hardcore gaming and stuff, but like if you want to talk about a good business model, I mean Apple's got Apple Arcade. They're gonna have 200, 300, 400, 500 games in there, right?
For
Mobile,
$4.99
a month.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that's a big move for them. I mean, to be honest with you, that's going to make them a lot of money. Because now, let me use what Slow-Mo just said. These people right now are playing Candy Crush for free, right? But then they're putting $100 into Candy Crush. Now they can go play that same game in its entirety. They don't got to pay another dime for $4.99. Like, that's a crazy deal. That does not interest me, probably anyone on the panel or anyone listening to the show. But that's and so that's why what I thought you were going to say, Slow-Mo, that I thought was interesting. All of us were like, it's time, if Xbox is PC and PC is Xbox, it's time to stop charging us for gold. We should be able to play online just like the PC players. The same people that are playing Gears 5 right now on PC Game Pass are not paying for gold, right? Yeah. And so my point being is that that's what I thought. All of a sudden they do Ultimate Game Pass. Everybody put their pitchforks and knives on. They're like, they went from wanting it for free to I love $14.99, and I'm like, what happened?
Right. But see, that's what actually what I was getting at. That's what they want. They were just like, well, look, you don't want to pay for Xbox Live no more. Don't worry about that. You got Game Pass, Ultimate. We give you all this extra stuff, and then Xbox Live is just but it's built in.
Here's the thing, though. It always goes back. Once people are going to subscribe for this for the month, play the games that they want, and then hop back out.
Yeah. Somebody in the live chat mentioned that they have their auto subscribe turned off.
Yes, I do it. I do that with every Xbox, with any subscription.
Yeah.
Any subscription, not just Xbox. I always have it off. I mean, it's not really hard to forget. The month you subscribe to it, and then and then not just that. Let's call it is what it is, right, guys? So all of a sudden, let's say you did forget. You come home, you click on the button, and it goes, "I'm sorry, you don't have the rights to this." And you're like, "Oh, my fault." Mm-hmm. You just go 2 screens over and click pay, and it's all back again.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if you're talking about Netflix or Game Pass or no matter what it is. So you're always better to just cancel that. I always cut that off.
Yeah.
Let's compare Game Pass and how it's set up now. What Microsoft is compared to what Nintendo and Sony are doing with their traditional route. You got Gears 5 that just came out. We see some of the sales or subscriptions for that or user engagements for that. And then look at what Nintendo's doing, right? They're cranking out more AAA games that's out, first party games. They're consistent with that, and Sony is kind of more consistent with theirs, punching out the higher quality, high end AAA games, and then they have the VR and stuff like that. So I think these 3 companies are going to do their own separate thing that it's been successful with them so far. But how does Microsoft and Xbox in this whole Game Pass future? How does that fit into the scope of that?
I said this to Mooch and DM today. I think this shows us that the pie's so big that these companies can kind of carve out their own pieces of the pie and make money.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I think Microsoft is going left where everyone else is going right, and it's kind of almost like Nintendo.
But Nintendo's not really going. They're not really. I mean, not like Sony per se. I mean,
like Nintendo almost kind of feels like they're not even really trying to compete with Xbox and PlayStation. They even like market their names to a different demographic kind of stuff. And it's like they're all doing their own thing. And I think they've seen now, and we've seen the financials over the past year. So they're all making money. They're all profitable.
Yep.
I think that's why the biggest kind of like issue that they have is Google. Not necessarily saying Google Stadia is going to be good, but it's kind of messing up the balance. Yeah. It's like you got these three here. You got Sony thinking like, I'm dominating these other two, and you got Nintendo thinking I'm in my own lane, and Xbox is doing their streaming thing. And then
that's why thinking that Google there's enough in the pie for that's not necessarily always the right answer, because all it takes is that one unknown. In this case, you used Google as the unknown. Could be another company that could be Amazon, could be Apple. Any of these companies could come in and do something to revolutionize the way we play games, and all of a sudden Microsoft making that left turn and barely holding on, right? They're profitable, but they're not over the top. You know what I mean? They're doing well, but they need to do better. And if you throw one wrench in there, it might throw that whole thing off. Again, nobody knows what the future holds. Right now, everybody's holding on tight and doing well. Yeah. But like you said, it could be Google, it could be another company. So that's why the thing about it is that when you see, Gears 5 sales numbers the way they are, physical is definitely the way the dodo bird, right? I mean, I buy like Nintendo Switch games digital sometimes too, but I buy those on the cartridge still. But other than that, I'm pretty much digital. But I mean, we're talking about just a short period of time ago when Forza Horizon 4 was breaking records over in UK. Right?
Yeah.
And the physical disc. So they were kicking ass and taking names over there. And now all of a sudden, the next game that comes out, we're like, oh, nobody buys physical. Well, but listen, I'm the first one to say I'm all digital. But let's not just, cut to the chase and say that these numbers don't mean anything. They do.
Yeah. You're missing out on more than probably half of your install base.
So let me ask you guys something, guys, as we transition out of this topic, by the way. Great conversation, by the way. Is this a byproduct of franchise fatigue? This is something that I've talked about with the guys in the BRAP DM, and I think, I know you and I have talked about this on the phone a little bit, and that there is such a thing as franchise fatigue. I think that there gets to a point, I think, with certain games where if it's doing the same thing over and over again, and I think this might have been some of the criticism. Maybe not even criticism, just I wouldn't even say it's criticism. I would say it's more of an observation. I think, Mooch, when you and I talked when we first started playing Gears 5, we're like, yeah, it's great. It's more Gears.
Right.
Well, not a criticism. It's just an observation.
No, not at all.
That it's more of the same. Now, but I think after a while I think there is such thing as fatigue. And I've heard people say, well, what about Nintendo? What about Mario and Zelda? I'm like, yeah, those franchises have been around for a long time. I don't think anyone's arguing that. I mean, they've been around, as long as Nintendo's around, they're going to be around. But the one thing those franchises do that's really different, and I think maybe the one criticism that people have had of Gears is that those franchises, yes, you're playing as Mario and you're playing as Link. But one, if you look at Link, there's been different variations of Link. We're going to see that this Friday with Link's Awakening. If you compare that Link to the Link that came out with Breath of the Wild. And Nintendo's always really made some dramatic gameplay improvements or changed the mechanics up of their storied franchises, and that's big. I don't think that's something that should be overlooked. And of course, I know we have our Call of Duties, but I would even argue that even Call of Duty's not as big as what Call of Duty was during the time of the Xbox 360. Yes, still very popular franchise, but even then, I think people were getting to the point where they're getting tired of where Call of Duty was going, where now we're seeing Activision and Treyarch go back to kind of the Modern Warfare roots, because that to me, that was like the pinnacle of that franchise. So, but I want to get everyone's thoughts on this. I mean, is that such a thing? Is franchise fatigue a thing? And is it something that developers need to be aware of? Like, is it unfair for us as gamers to say, oh, this is more of the same, or is that legitimate criticism or observation?
I think
definitely.
I want to point out something the Gaming Addict said in regards to services. He said the majority of the people keep auto pay on. Trust me, when I worked at Dish, people always had auto pay on. So there is some credence that that kind of works. And we talked about that. different, people with different, mindsets of how they deal with services, and they just forget to turn that stuff off. But to Enrique's question, I agree about franchise fatigue, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's more like a generational thing. So Gears was big for a different generation of gamer. Like the kids that are out here now, like, and Ninja and playing Gears is the perfect example of this. He had less people watching him play Gears, the first person ever in the world streaming this campaign. He had less people watching him do that than he got normal any old Tuesday, him playing Minecraft.
Yep.
Think about that. His demographic, and that's the demographic that all these platforms want. Why? Because they're young. And main reasons because they're young. And that means that they got more time in gaming than anyone on this panel. We're all 30-plus-year-old dudes.
Speak for yourself.
It just the reality of the matter is that as years go on, and it may not happen to us, but in all of gaming, the older you get, some people just stop gaming. Some people just find interest in different things. Some people unfortunately die. You got young every year. There are new gamers coming into this industry, our new customers, and every year they get a little bit more financially independent from their parents and can buy whatever the hell they want. That is the gamer. And unfortunately, Gears is a last gen genre. It is a last gen. When Gears was big, like everyone, like if you were making a third person shooter game, you need to make it like this game or your game's going to suck balls.
Slow-mo, real quick.
That was last gen.
Just to interrupt real quick, to kind of touch upon your point. It's a great point, and it's funny. I could tell in talking to some people like that they're like usually for kind of the newer generation when I talk to them about Gears, because they don't know the historical significance of Gears for the 360, and not just for what it meant for that console, but what it meant for the industry. It was literally a game changer in the industry. It revolutionized the cover-based third-person shooter. It to the point where Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog even said this, when they played Gears for the first time and they were working on Uncharted, they said, "Holy shit, we got to incorporate some of this in Uncharted."
Yeah, and now these kids see it for the first time. They couldn't even walk when the first Gears came out. And they see this one, they're just like, all right, I'm gonna go back to Fortnite and do a dance. That's it's not they don't care about that kind of gameplay. Remember Halo? I remember when Halo 2 came out, I was in college.
Hashtag Kill Master Chief.
And I had to go to GameStop and get this like paper that said when I had a number on it. And I was like, yes, I'm number 7. So like when they did the midnight release, I got to walk past all these people in the line because I got that number 7 and I got to be right in the front and get my game. Now that stuff ain't well, first of all, everything's digital now. But even if everything wasn't digital now, why doing that for Halo? Halo, the gameplay, the format of the gameplay that, let's do a mission. You're going to go through corridors. We're going to go to a kill area, kill everybody, keep going. There's a cutscene at the end. Go on to the next mission. That stuff is that we love that. We love that about Halo. These kids don't care about that.
No, they don't. He's right.
I mean, Moose, you have kids. I mean, you talked about this. Like you wanted your son to play Gears, and what does he do?
No, he's right back at Fortnite, and I mean that's the thing, and it's funny because no matter what you're doing, when his friends come over, the baseball team, they're all talking about like, how many wins did you have? Oh yeah, how many wins you got? That's all it cares about. No, I sniped you from far away. No, you know what I mean? It's like, so my point being is like, Slow-Mo makes a really good point. I don't know. Slow-Mo did such a great rant. I don't remember what the actual what was the topic at hand.
It was franchise fatigue.
Well, I mean, when you talk about franchise fatigue, I don't know how to really, Slow-Mo went down one pathway, which actually held a lot of water. But I think as far as franchise fatigue goes, I think Attic said it in the chat. If the game is still good and relevant and it's made well, I don't think you get fatigued. I mean, and he used somebody in the chat also used Uncharted as an example. Like I enjoyed Uncharted 4 just as much as I enjoyed Uncharted 2.
Me too.
You know, so am I fatigued on that? No. I do think that the thing with Gears, I think, and they have made better advancements in it, but it still feels like very I'm going to use the word clunky. You know what I mean? It's that, but that's the mechanic. So some people go, well, if you change that, you change the whole essence of the game. If that's the truth, then pardon me, I'm not a developer. I don't pretend to be one either. I would just say that I think the fluid motion is something nowadays. If you look at games like what do you call it there? Fortnite or Apex, right? First thing people say is it's smooth, right? Yeah. Is it you know? And the thing about Gears is that it doesn't have that smooth gameplay. That on top of that, getting back to your Ninja, I did a huge thing on Crossfire about this. I don't know if the Ninja thing is paying off for them. You know, I just don't think I don't think it's paying off for them. They wanted to see big numbers. Ninja on a regular Tuesday, Wednesday in the middle of a season of Fortnite on Twitch was getting 65,000 viewers. Nothing special. Nothing happening. Wasn't a new season. Wasn't a new this. Wasn't that. You know, it was just Ninja on Wednesday at 6. Let's go. And he was getting 65,000. Here's the game release. The game, breaking debut. And he had 17,500. That's if I'm in the boardroom, I'm thinking to myself, I wanted to see 50,000 plus.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping to rope in with that kind of an investment.
I think he had 50,000 on Mixer when he was doing Minecraft. I think you may have mentioned that to me that he had like 50,000 viewers or something on Mixer with Minecraft.
Yeah, it was up there. It was up there pretty high. You know what I mean? Like that was the one thing I was noticing the entire week though. Like going into it, everybody's hyping up the whole stream. And then the stream came for Gears 5 and it really didn't do too many, really big numbers or anything like that. And then it wasn't trending on Twitter. Like the whole week of release, the game wasn't trending. So like I feel like enough people weren't talking about the game. And I just felt like, it was just like a mix of both. Like people really weren't interested in Gears just because it could be franchise fatigue. Or people just don't really care about Gears. And Gears has always been like the little brother to Halo. You know what I mean? Like you're either a hardcore Halo guy or like you're a hardcore Gears guy.
That's right. That's
and the Gears guy, you know what I mean? The Gears guy was definitely, on a lower totem pole when it compared to how many Halo players that were out there. So, you know what I mean? As we got older, you know what I mean? That pool of Gears players started to diminish. And I think that's what we're seeing here with the low player count.
Yeah. Well, there's other games now in that genre. I mean, that's not just
but
Gears anymore. It's not just Halo anymore.
If you weren't playing, if you're not hyped about Gears, what game are you playing right now that's a shooter?
Borderlands 3.
No, when you play Gears, if you're a gearhead, you play Gears.
Oh, you play Gears, yeah. You play the multiplayer.
So you're not playing. You're not going to get off Gears to play Borderlands.
No.
You play Gears to get on there and crack somebody's skull. You know what I mean? So what other game is a gearhead playing right now if they're not playing Gears?
Yeah. Well, I think
all the true gearheads are playing Gears, and that's why the numbers are what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I mean, I used to play a lot of Gears on 360, but I think like other people, like myself, I mean, I think some people left, went elsewhere. But I agree with you though, B. I think there's that hardcore Gears group, just like Halo, that have stayed there with the franchise and that are still playing the game competitively in multiplayer.
Because out of all those 3 million people, you know what I mean, that touched the game, you know what I mean, a good portion of people played the campaign because that was trending on Twitter and everybody's talking about it, and you know what I mean, it got great Metacritic scores and all that. After everybody beats the campaign, 75% of people ain't gonna touch the game no more anyway. No. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be just like Gears 4. Like if anybody who was like a true Gears 4 fan, you know what I mean, it never did high numbers in Twitter or in Twitch. It never did high numbers on Mixer. You know what I mean? After the game released, like a month later, it was completely dead. You know what I mean? Everybody played the campaign, and then if you play multiplayer, you're on there. Mm-hmm. That was it. And this is the same thing that's gonna happen with Gears 5. So if you've been in that community, you know exactly what to expect. So I wasn't, feeling any way about, the numbers that came out because I already knew what it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think franchise fatigue is a real thing because I remember, guys, prior to this game coming out for the last year, before Microsoft started, buying up these studios and stuff like that, gamers were saying we need something else. We're tired of Halo, Gears, and Forza. It's the same thing, just rotated out. And I think that plays a lot. That plays a big role in it. I think Gears belongs to a different generation than what's going on now.
Jay, I am fatigued by Halo, man. I've been on Halo for 18 years.
I definitely think there's some fatigue when it comes to some of these games. I mean, you notice it with the Forza series. Yeah. With the Motorsport series, it had its peak and it's slowly dwindled every year. And then they introduced the Horizon series, and that series was very popular. 2 was a very popular game. 3 was probably its peak, and 4 was good, but you can start to tell that that fan base is starting to dwindle there. Yeah. There's not as many people talking about Forza Horizon 4 as much as they were talking about Forza Horizon 3. You know what I mean? The impact of that game, the DLC and stuff like that, it doesn't have the same impact on the consumer base.
Well, you can tell because look at the reviews of the games, and you can see how the first 2 or 3 games were steady, high, and then by the time you get to the 4th game, they started going down little by little. They just started going down. And the only way for a lot of these games to get back up to where they were is you're going to have to remake these games. Look at the God of War franchise, right? It was the same formula over and over, and eventually got to the point where it's like, okay, we're going to start from scratch, remake this thing different, and it worked out for them for God of War.
Right. You got to make it current.
Yeah, and I get it. Right, it's a difficult thing for Microsoft and a lot of these companies to take their biggest franchise, and that's part of the problem. You shouldn't have had to depend on just only 3 games in your stable out of all the games you release. They only have 3 games in their stable. They got rid of Fable. They got rid of a lot of the other stuff. So they only have 3 games, Halo, Gears, and Forza. And that's what you get when those are the only games that you have that are consistently.
That I was saying too, Jay, is you have Gears 5 out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've had 2 Gears games in this one generation.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 2. Well, no, I mean, Halo's technically going to release with Scarlet, but Halo's Infinite will still play on your Xbox One X.
Yeah, it's still part of this generation.
Right? So my point being is that, I don't understand why you don't have someone as talented as the Coalition now develop a new IP, do something else, and then have Gears 6 come out towards the end of Scarlet.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do something like that, you keep and also do what you said, reinvent it a little bit, do something different, make it so when I play the game, I'm going to tell you guys this, I've been very vocal about it. I'll say it again. I didn't like the first 3 God of Wars. I didn't care for those. This one here, I'm sold. I can't wait for the next one. I didn't like how in the first 3, the camera angles, you were behind Kratos. Then the enemy came up and it was bigger than life. And then you climbed up a wall and Kratos was the size of a piece of gum. So I was like, what's happening? What? Right? It was too much wackiness for me. I'm like, this is crazy. It's but it's fine. I get people like it. This God of War, sign me up.
Boy.
So, right. Let's do this. So that was what it's all about. And Gears needs that. I'm hoping, but I doubt it. I'm hoping Halo Infinite is reborn in a certain essence. I don't know if they are going to do that or not.
You can't say don't say that move.
I know.
People will come after you.
Kill Master Chief.
Well, I don't want to go that drastic. I still want Master Chief.
That crazy Enrique nonsense.
Show his face.
No, not that. I just meant do something different where it's an open world, something a little bit different. I don't know. Listen, again, I'm not the developer. But at the same time, they need to do something to refresh the franchise a little.
Right.
It needs a little Old Spice. Make it fresh again.
Yeah. Although I did want to say something about what Moose said about that they don't have anyone as talented as the Coalition. I would say Ninja Theory and Obsidian.
Yeah.
I didn't say they don't have anybody as talented as the Coalition.
Oh, my bad. I thought that's what you said.
No. Oh, you mean on a couple points prior?
Yeah.
No, what I was just trying to say is that when you look at sales right now, when we were talking about the bait and switch, you were saying, what I'm saying to you is I agree with you. The Coalition and Gears and 343 and Halo are their major bait, right? That's their big time bait.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't know if I have the same faith in a compulsion games or an In Exile to come out and be that same kind of bait. What I'm saying is that you might be able to lure people back in on Halo and Gears, but all of a sudden Compulsion's like, we have a few too. That shit, that could be 49 cents.
They're actually working on a AAA game.
They are
right
working
now,
on a AAA game,
which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to be, but sure, yeah, all right.
We happy for you too.
It's new and innovative. Let's do it. Bring it on. Let's go.
Hey guys, real quick, I do want to because we're getting close to 11 o'clock here. I do want to get to Borderlands 3. Speaking of franchises, the last Borderlands release, 7 years ago? Is my
yeah.
Got it. Well, it released
Borderlands
the end
2.
of the end of the 360 era.
Yeah, and if you guys play, look, Slow-Mo, I am with you. Borderlands is the king of looter shooters. It for me
facts
started the genre. I mean, and it's still. I mean, I loved Borderlands 2. I didn't play 1, played Borderlands 2. Loved Telltale's games, Tales from the Borderlands. If you haven't played that game and you're a Borderlands fan, you should play it because it is it's hilarious. I love Vaughn. Vaughn is a funny ass character, by the way. Doesn't Vaughn have like a 6-pack too? Like he's like
for a nerd, he's kind of buff.
Remember like who was it? God, who's the guy, the main protagonist in Borderlands?
Reese.
Yes, Reese. Who's also in Borderlands 3. So remember Vaughn takes off his shirt. He's like, wait a minute, like he's supposed to be this nerd. He's got like this 6-pack. Anyhow, it's that Borderlands humor. But I'm a big fan of the franchise. So obviously I have some bias here, but I would agree with you, Slow-Mo. I know we talked about this before. It is the king of looter shooters, and Borderlands 3 is not disappointed. I'm having a blast with this game, but there's a but here. The game does have some issues. I mean, I have an Xbox One X. Thank God I do, because I know people that are playing on the S, and it's like unplayable on the S. There's some bugs, frame rate issues. I've noticed some frame rate issues. I've had where I'm noticing frame rate issues. The first planet that you go to outside of Pandora. There were some frame rate issues.
Prometheus,
yes, yeah, and then I noticed when there's a lot of particle effects and explosions going on, the frame rate takes a hit. Like I've seen that too.
I don't have that in single player at all.
Yeah, I've experienced a little bit in single player. I also noticed that there's more frame rate dips when I was playing co-op with Slow-Mo the other night, and then Slow-Mo mentioned like he lost some audio when we were watching a cutscene. I remember you're like, oh my God, Rick, I can't hear. I don't know what's going on. I just lost the audio.
I was trying to follow along with the subtitles as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And on the PC side, it's not much better there either. There's been some reports of people losing save files.
That is that's a no. Like that cannot you cannot release a game like that.
No,
where people are.
You can't. Slow-Mo, in your video, you said they should have waited to release the game, maybe push it back another 2-3 months. But these companies have this is published by 2K. They have deadlines to meet. They have investors to make happy. I hate seeing this stuff. I don't like seeing games being released with bugs and issues. This is not. I was critical of Fallout 76. I thought that was a terrible job by Bethesda to release that game the way it was. It was broken. It had a lot of bugs. They brought bugs from Fallout 4 into Fallout 76. Borderlands 3 is not that as bad, but there's still some bugs there. But other than that, I'm having a blast. I think it's a lot of fun.
I think the reason everybody can say what you just said, Enrique, is everyone's always like, well, there's this bug and there's this bug and there's this bug and there's that bug. but I haven't had this much fun all year. You know what I mean? Like, so my point being is, I think we're just talking about the bugs because we're coming off of the Gears bugs, and everyone's trying to make that correlation. That's fine. Gearbox actually put out a tweet just before you went live, Enrique, saying they're aware of everything and they'll have an update on Borderlands.com soon. There's issues. I think every game that we've played this year had issues. The difference is are the issues completely stopping you from playing? Now, I did see some people on Twitch that were playing 3-4 people, and I saw the frame rate drop. I saw it. So that's not excusable.
No, it's not.
That's not cool. That's not cool.
But is it game breaking?
But I mean,
I don't think any of these, at least my experience,
game breaking,
yeah,
at all. I mean, I'm playing through. I'm just about level 20 on my character. Like, I'm having a lot of fun. I was playing just before, like when I saw I had like 20 minutes left, and you send the hangouts out. I'm like, oh shit, I got to stop. You know, I'm like, so, but I was having a field day. Like, I literally had no issues. That does not mean you go by my small census, my small. I'm okay. That doesn't matter. But I mean, if you're playing with 1 or 2 people out here, it's okay. Here, when you get to 3 or 4, again, not excusable. Right. But if they, here's my thing. I always like to see if they're turning the ship. Like, if they can turn it around fast. Like, Gears did a good job. They had a lot of game breaking issues with not being able to advance past act. They fixed a lot of that stuff in the past week, but they had a week. Let's also call it what it is. They had a week. You know, Gearbox just came out on Friday. Here it's Monday, and they say they're aware of it. I said when everyone was claiming the issues they were having, I said wait till Wednesday, Thursday, see what happens. You know, give them some time. They've got to turn it around. But I mean, just the other tweet that went out just this late this afternoon and just ended recently was Randy Pitchford has a tweet out there with a poll. How's everybody enjoying Borderlands? And he's got literally great, good, okay. And I don't remember the last one, but the last one was basically, I don't want to play this. And it's 80% or it's great. So and it's 32,000 votes. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say here in the long run is we can definitely say it, but we can do that probably for, you know, when Doom comes out, there's probably going to be a frame rate issue here or a dip there or that. Like, my problem is when you're a month later and there's still no advancement or fix, then I got a problem.
Then it's Fallout 76 level.
Right. Fallout 76 didn't fix anything. They still didn't fix things.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going on a year. So
or
it's
Anthem.
like, you know, Anthem.
Oh boy.
You know, I'll give give credit where credit's due. Like, I'm enjoying the hell out of Control. Control has got a major issue with frame rate. Major issue. And I don't know if they're ever going to be able to fix that because that's a CPU problem. I think they
that's
right.
That's their engine. Their engine is just too damn demanding.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Slim, I'm going to go live chat. Gaming Addicts says, so your save file being deleted, not a big deal.
Well, that's on gaming. Just a shout out to Addict. It is a big deal. That's on PC only. Not that that's okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, we said that earlier, that it's not.
Yeah, I think we all said that too, that stuff is not acceptable.
That's not acceptable.
And I said in my video, the game should have never been released in that state. If that was going on, they should have just waited until they got everything together. Like, I think that is like kind of like the cardinal sin when it comes to bugs. Yes. And it's always a scale. Like, I remember when the Division 2 came out, and there was this little bug where like some of the enemies would like spawn in and they would be like Ken dolls where their arms would be, you know, straight and their legs would be straight, and then they just wouldn't move and it'd be just look hilarious. And I would like take a snapshot of it and put it up on Twitter because it was funny. Like, that's something that's not game breaking, but it's a hilarious bug. Playing for like 6 hours and then you get back into the game and then it's none of that stuff is saved. That's not cool. That would piss anybody off.
Oh, yeah.
That's wasted time. Yeah, that stuff is just not acceptable, period. So, it's a big deal, Addict. No one's saying it's not.
No, that's a huge deal. And I mean, you know, Talos he had an issue with, you know, Gears 5. And he said it crashed his Xbox One X. Like, I mean, everyone's got a different experience. I mean, think about this, guys. You remember when we all took home our Xbox One or our PS4? Remember everybody was on Twitter being like, oh, mine, you know, I got a lemon because I brought my Xbox home and it doesn't work. I got my PS4, and after 3 weeks, it just started making these weird noises. I had to return it. Like, there's always going to be these issues. I don't know why. There's no real good answer, but you can almost go through every game that's come out, and there's a problem, right? So now it's not, hey, you have a problem, it's the worst thing ever. Now it's like the degrees of the issue or the bug. And like, Attic said, losing your save file, that's up there in the top 3 of that's not acceptable at all, period. It's not even a discussion. I don't think the game should have. I don't know why any of these games couldn't have taken an extra week and just said, "Hey, we're gonna launch in a week or 2," right? Yeah, I guess
it comes down to money. I mean, it's. I
think it's also the promises to the investors.
Yeah, exactly. As I was saying, it's a promise to the investors and the money. I mean, it's I don't know, Slimo. I know you in your video you mentioned you didn't want to talk about some of the fiasco at Gearbox, which you all know about. And you brought up a good point. I do think. Maybe not like a weak point, but I will say that I thought the story was a little bit better in Gears 2, Borderlands 2. And you mentioned that the writer for Borderlands 2 is actually no longer with Gearbox. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anthony Birch left them a good little time ago. I think right around the time the pre-sequel came. He actually left them before the pre-sequel came out because he didn't write that either. But you can see, and I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but this campaign, the story for Borderlands 3 kind of follows, and I'm not finished it yet, so I don't know how it ends, but so far it follows the same story beats as Borderlands 2. Yeah. Like I can almost it almost seemed to me like the narrative team at Gearbox had this big dry erase board and they had like a timeline of everything for Borderlands 2. And they were just like, okay, so let's fit our characters in these in these slots. Like we're gonna have this guy do this, and then this guy do that, and then this person's gonna go here, and it's just like I can almost like there's stuff that happens at night, and before it happened, I was like, oh, this person's about to.
I kind of feel like Slow-Mo nailed it. That would be my one critique right now in the game that I'm having is that like it's almost like the dialogue is I don't know exactly what they're going to say, and they still kind of get you to chuckle, but it's almost predictable.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with him that I think they saw they had a winning formula with what they did with Handsome Jack. That's the only other problem too is Handsome Jack. At this point, I don't know. I'm not even as far as Slow-Mo was a better antagonist than say the Calypso twins or whatever.
Yes, I would agree with that 110%, especially after coming off Tales of the Borderlands and Handsome Jack's in that. I mean, like he's a better antagonist. Not
they
that
just
the
couldn't
Calypso
do
twins.
They couldn't do Jack again.
Yeah.
No, they couldn't.
He's iconic.
But he's
like
iconic.
An iconic villain. Like in the top 10 villains of all time, Handsome Jack is somewhere in there.
He was disturbing.
He's that. He is disturbing.
Slow-Mo, his dialogue was disturbing in a funny, fucked up way too. That's
like when he killed Commander Pierce.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to that in Borderlands 2, it's like you feel bad for laughing because it's like it's hilarious, but at the same time, when you picture it, that's kind of messed up. So it's just like, but that character, the dialogue, the writing of it, and the delivery, the voice acting, all that stuff was top notch. These Calypso twins, it's like they're trying to make them close to Handsome Jack, and what I think they should have did was they should have went in a completely different direction, because Handsome Jack, there was no Handsome Jack in Borderlands 1. It was pretty much a cookie cutter villain in Borderlands 1.
Yeah.
They went in a different direction in 2. They should have went in another different direction for 3.
Slow-Mo, do you want to answer this? Gaming Addict says, so with 4 games in with Borderlands, it didn't need to change anything. No franchise fatigue. Game perfect, fine being a Borderlands game.
Yes, because the game has been a 7-year gap since then.
Thank you. I was just going to tell you, I actually have it written out. My answer to that was it's been since 2011, 2012 since Borderlands came out. Gears 4 came out 2.5 years ago. Yeah. So when you sit there and say, hey, is this the same formula? Yes, I'll agree with you that Borderlands followed the same formula, but I haven't played a Borderlands game since last generation.
So like I'm
ready.
Years.
Yeah, I'm ready to play a new Borderlands game, even if it's more of the same, just a better looking version with the technology we have now, which is what it is. That's fine. But when you have Gears 3, Gears 4 comes out in 2016, Gears 5 comes out in 2019, the fatigue the fatigue doesn't mean people are fatigued, but the conversation comes up because it's just it's back to back. It almost feels like we're now if Borderlands 5 comes out in 2021, well, we got to bring this up again. If it didn't change anything, then it's a different thing.
Even the first Borderlands came out in 2006, So you got a 6-year gap, from the second one, and now you have a 7-year gap. And with 3, they are. I mean, it isn't exactly a carbon copy of 2. The foundation of Borderlands is there, but they did make some improvements. Like I think
the gunplay is better.
Yes,
like,
I was gonna say that the
gunplay
gunplay is better.
Much better.
The gunplay is much better. Even the weapons, I think, are better. Like there's even, and I think this is really hard to do in a looter shooter. There's a nice variety of weapons there in this game, and I was kind of concerned about that.
Yes.
Like, what if these weapons suck, right? Like my biggest complaint with Destiny is that with Destiny 1, there was the iconic, exotic weapons like the Gallahorn, the Last Word, all these, and for me playing Destiny 2, I haven't had that feeling of, oh my god, I gotta have this weapon like I did with Destiny 1.
Enrique, you made a great point. I literally play through the game. I don't know if you guys are having the same experience. I play through it. I'll use a pistol, a shotgun, and like a grenade launcher. Like just flipping through them, just rolling through. Like where in other games, even if you have those in your arsenal, I still have my favorite gun I only use. I find myself when I got a minute, I'm like, man, I'll pick some guns up. I'm like, I want to see what this one actually looks like, what it does, right?
Yes.
And now each gun has, you push down on the D-pad, and it brings out a whole new arsenal of weapons out of the gun. That's awesome, right? There's so much to it. Like I have this one pistol that does the green toxic. Switch down and it's the fire. So depending on your enemy who you're fighting, and it's rapid fire, all I have to do is actually push the RT down and it just line drives. So if you have the robots, they're more susceptible to the green toxic. I just switch over to that. The minute I see them getting hit by regular foot soldiers, I switch over to the fire. It burns them up. It is a blast. I mean, it's crazy. Like one of the main reasons I think a lot of people that if you're in the 30 plus category, like Slow-Mo was saying, we got into this because when we were kids, we wanted a game like this. Non-stop action, tons, like guns to the nth degree, explosions, funny writing. And like when I say non-stop, it is non-stop action all the time. There's no time where you're like, I'm bored, this sucks.
You know what kills me, Mooch, is that I find it hard to like engage in combat and not open chest at the same time. Like I'm like, because I don't like, I find myself getting shot in the back because I'm so busy trying to open chests and trying to get new loot. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's that addicting. I do want to go to live chat again. Gaming Addict says so 360 had 3 Borderlands games. Gears had 1 game this gen besides 5, and it's fatigue.
It's a complete trash argument. Let me tell you why that's a trash argument. One, he's comparing last gen to this gen. That's stupid. How long was last gen compared to this gen?
Last gen was like 15 years long.
You can think better than this. Come on. Like last gen was super long, and Gears had more games last gen than Borderlands did. So you died on that argument too. And to be completely clear here, your favorite game uses Borderlands formula as its Bible. So just stop.
Don't say that. You might get some people upset, Slow-Mo, when you say stuff like that about Borderlands.
I'm sorry. If it wasn't for Borderlands, there would be no Destiny. He should be happy.
Yeah, that's true, man. Borderlands, started that and even then, I mean, I think what's great about 3 is, like I said, like I find myself in combat trying to open chests and loot when I'm supposed to be fighting, and I feel like that's not easy to do in a game like that. Because
I love the change they made with that, where now you don't actually have to hold the button to get the loot, the ammo to come to you. Just opening the chest automatically draws it to you, so you don't have to stop. Yeah, you can just open the chest and then immediately turn and keep shooting enemies, and you get that extra ammo back. It's awesome.
Yeah, X-Hawk on the live chat says Uncharted had 2 games this gen. Sony's not making any more Uncharted games. They're done with that. So they didn't give us the opportunity for fatigue.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, I don't think it's coming back. And if it does, B, what do you think? B, have you heard anything about Uncharted?
No, they're making a brand new game that's not Uncharted.
I know Naughty Dog is making a brand new game.
Hey, Jay, have you heard any details?
No, they just said that they were not doing another Uncharted game. They move on to something else.
Yeah.
No,
they said that's chapter, that book on that is closed.
It's done.
Yep.
So I mean, done to the point. So Lost Legacy is it for that entire universe?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Because then now you got a new IP
That's what I'm saying. Like
with all new characters and maybe a whole new kind of gameplay loop.
Now here's the thing: next generation, right? What if at the end of the generation or the generation after that they decide to bring that back? I'm fine with that. But this series has had 5 games, just 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not counting the Lost Legacy.
Yeah,
3 of them last generation, and they had one this generation, and they killed the series. It's done. It's not fatigued. Sometimes that's the right thing to do, and Sony has a lot of different IPs.
Jay, speaking of fatigue like that, we see with movies. I mean, how many of us got sick with the Terminator movies?
I knew you was gonna go to the Terminator. I knew.
Think about
it. Say that one
because
Terminator's done, man. Don't nobody care about Terminator now.
It's time to take that horse out back and get rid of it. Like, just let it go.
But who's excited for the new Rambo, right? I mean, when's the last
Nobody.
time? I don't know. I kind of, maybe I'm the minority here, but I am because I haven't seen a Rambo like a Rambo movie in years. But
man, I'm not going to the theater to pay $30 to see Rambo.
Listen, Stallone is like 90 years old now, so it's time for that.
I'll watch it, but I'm not paying good money to go to the theater.
OBJ in the chat and Gregor Von Doom said that there's a new studio that Sony has that's going to continue Uncharted. And if that's the case, I hope they continue with Nathan's daughter and then like another character. Then I don't want to see Nathan Drake no more. Like I maybe have him on a voicemail, be like, "Hey, where are you?"
I think they do have another studio in Santa Monica too. That's I think that's what the secret studio they're referring to. But I think OBJ is right. I do remember hearing this now that there's a secret studio working on Uncharted. I'm okay if it's Uncharted minus Nathan Drake. I'm kind of over Nathan Drake. I don't want to see him anymore as a character. I'd like to see them kind of branch out.
Hey man, they set the alley up perfect. If they're gonna bring it back.
I think the 1-2 combo though that combo with Nathan Drake and Sully though, man. I'll tell you, I don't know. I think because of the gap in between the games, I'm not bored of that. I could definitely see another one like that. I'm okay with it. I played Lost Legacy. I beat Lost Legacy. I liked it, but I feel like the mechanics were amazing. I thought everything was good, but not having Sully or Drake there, it felt a little empty. I mean, I'm totally okay with that being a me problem. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I actually like the new protagonist, and like B said, like they kind of set it. I forget what you said, B. Like they set it up perfectly with Nadine and what's her face.
And Chloe.
Yeah.
Chloe. Yeah. No, I mean it was absolutely well done. I loved it. I did. I enjoyed the playthrough. I just personally thought that like it felt a little bit empty without having, just because like the same thing. You use the Terminator as the reference, right? But when did the Terminator jump the shark? It jumped the shark once. Arnold wasn't once he wasn't the main Terminator. Once they had 18 other Terminators, and he was like, "I can help you," and we're like, "Whatever, dude. You showed up. You showed up at the end. I got it. You're out. You're out." So it was like that's when it jumps the shark. So when you pull Nathan Drake or Sully out, it was just I personally think that's when you jump the shark. And maybe Jay's right. Maybe it's time to move on from that franchise if you're not going to include one at least one of those main characters to go on and continue the name forward. Because when you think Uncharted, those two faces got to pop into your mind.
Yeah, I just think I would like for them. See, this is what I liked about Gears 5, that Gears at least introduced new characters, and that's maybe the freshness that they're trying to pump into the Gears franchise, which I think is a good thing. I kind of want to see. I would want to see that with Uncharted. Like I said, I don't get me wrong. I agree. Nathan and Sully had some very memorable experiences. Your relative name's funny, says Enrique. I love the character. Forgot names.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. No, I love Nathan Drake and Sully, but for me, it's like, okay, let's pass the torch, because I did really like Nadine and Chloe. I thought they did a tremendous job with those two characters, and I could see them. I could totally see them in an Uncharted franchise moving forward. Go ahead, B.
I was gonna say, I think if they do bring it back though, I think it's gonna have like a soft reboot, and the gameplay won't be the same. Like the way the characters move and stuff, I think all of that stuff will be changed, and it'll feel like a new franchise.
Well, I was going to say that
Yeah.
too. That, and I would be fine with that. Let Naughty Dog continue making your flagship next AAA game, and then let some other smaller studio take like side stories. Like maybe have a story that focuses on the things that Sully does when he's not with Drake, or maybe actually focus on their daughter or Drake. I mean, yeah, like Nathan's daughter. Or
I mean, everyone
like
thought that his daughter would be like the next, like that would be the next
runner up.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's the alley-oop right there. Everybody's sleeping on it, but the whole reason why they let Tomb Raider run its course, and the last Tomb Raider didn't do as great as it could have done, is because they handed it off to another studio.
Man, that's one franchise I think they need to go ahead and bury it and let it go. Tomb Raider.
Oh, come on, man.
It's been so. I'm just tired of it, man.
They're gonna bring it back, but they got to give it back to Crystal Dynamics. Eidos Montreal can't do it anymore.
Nah.
But I think that if they bring Uncharted back, they bring it back with Nathan's daughter, and that's the new, Tomb Raider. What I mean? Like that's going to be the new, female face of a big, AAA game.
Yeah.
That's all about action and adventure.
Hey, can I spoil the ending of Uncharted 4? Are we past that spoiling part now?
Yeah.
Because it's been like a couple years, 3-4 years since.
Yeah.
I mean, the ending of Uncharted 4, if you guys remember, after the end credits, where you see his daughter. I mean, I watching that, and I if I'm not mistaken, I think you actually do get the controller for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
There's a
little scene where
walking around the beach.
Yeah, and then she finds out who her parents really were.
Yeah,
and everything they did. Yeah,
yeah, and she's really into kind of the artifacts and everything, and looking at his stuff. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, she's gonna be the next protagonist in Uncharted.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought too, because she was kind of already, without even knowing what her father had done, she was already on that. If you go around in that little epilogue, you see that she's like on the cover of magazines.
She is, yeah,
already done some archaeology kind of stuff, but not like the shoot 'em up thing.
No, not a level of Nathan.
Not the Indiana Jones stuff that her father did, but then you can kind of tell they kind of wanted to keep her away from it because she got that bug. That just let her find out some stuff, and she might just go full Nathan Drake into it. And I think
didn't she break into that office or whatever he had? Did she break into it?
Yeah, she broke into his cabinet that had all of his souvenirs from all of the adventures he had over the previous games. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was a great send off for that series.
Absolutely. I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Solely drinks and gambles. Who's does he gamble?
Yeah. At the casino he did, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Dude, I'm just reading the live chat here about people making comments about Sully. Too funny.
Yes, Tomb Raider has 0 interesting characters. I agree with that. And you know what? This is my biggest issue with Tomb Raider. I almost made a video about this, but I think everyone kind of already understands it. It'll be a waste of time.
You don't think Lara's an interesting character?
No, not anymore. Because they keep saying she's becoming the Tomb Raider, and she's murdered like 1 million people already.
She's
what? How many times you gonna become the Tomb Raider? You already slaughtered like an entire army. What? So, but
she spent 3 games becoming the Tomb Raider.
I know, right? I don't
but in the comparison between Tomb Raider and Uncharted, there are all these interesting, complex characters, not just Nathan Drake. In Tomb Raider is literally just Lara Croft, and she's not even multidimensional.
What about her?
Sully? Sully has more.
She's a stone cold killer, Slow-Mo.
I would argue, Slow-Mo, that on the Uncharted games are more about the supporting characters than
facts. And even to go even further, in the first game, now the best Uncharted game, this reboot was the first one. And why was it the best one? It had a better narrative. It stayed on the island, and oh yeah, absolutely. The first one was the best.
Number 2.
Part 2 for me.
I don't understand why people are so hard on the first Uncharted. That game
was trash.
How was it trash, dude? That game launched a franchise.
Yeah, and not only that, but it had her crew that she was trying to save. They were multiple characters that actually you got to know over that course of time. The dude that trained her and he ended up dying. The other crew members that she was trying to save, there was like a purpose to everything. And then from there, all they did was bring the Samoan dude around. This dude, his physical appearance changes every game. Why? I couldn't even literally. I did not know that was the same guy until they said that was his name. I'm like, what? That's him?
Yep.
How?
He's ultimate friend zone.
Yo, this dude gets
Yeah,
plastic
he ain't getting no
surgery
play.
every game. He's just like, I'm with Laura. I need to not know it's me, so I don't get shot. Let me get plastic surgery done, and he just still ends up getting captured all over again. It's just like, it's so predictable.
I don't know how he survived that plane crash. That was fucking amazing. That he survived that. I'm like, the plane split apart. He goes flying in the mountains and he lives. I'm like, how does that? He's
No
a fucking
parachute.
superhero. He like comes and then he comes out of the woods and I don't know that. Yeah, I have some issues with that game, but I like to see her come back. Anyhow, all right. Well, we triggered Addict. He's gone.
It's all good, Addict. It's
yeah,
all,
come on, man.
jokes,
There's no reason to get angry and leave, man. It's as Mooch says, it's a talk show, right? We just start talking.
Video games.
Yeah, we're shooting the shit. So,
Yep.
all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up on this show, but I want to give a big shout out to Mooch and J-Dub for coming by, hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate it, gentlemen. J-Dub, where can people find you, man?
Man, you guys can find me on Twitter at JDubCity16. Trying to keep you guys laughing with the gifts and the memes. You know what I mean? You can also go to my YouTube channel, JW, check me out there.
Awesome, man. Mooch, thank you again, man, for coming by tonight, hanging out with us. Appreciate it.
Great show, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
No, absolutely, man. Please let people know where they can find you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. We got the Mooch78 on YouTube. We've got Crossfire 7 p.m. Eastern time this Friday, and then twitch.tv, the Mooch78 as well. I'm going to be streaming Tuesday night, Thursday night. Both of those will be Borderlands, and then we'll be doing Gears on the weekend. So definitely swing by and check it out. I appreciate it.
No doubt, man. All right, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. Attic, you're still in the chat. We love you, man. It's all good, buddy. We're going to have to get him back on Brap. He's like, I'm still here, frauds. All right, everyone. Hey, have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy whatever platform you game on. And we'll catch you guys next week. We'll be back actually next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And by the way, actually, this weekend, I don't know yet. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I may have somebody from Digital Foundry on Saturday this weekend. So, haven't confirmed it yet, but keep an eye out for that. I will tweet it out once I confirm that. So, you're definitely going to want to miss that show. So, all right, everyone, we are out. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next weekend. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.